Welcome, wherever you are and with whatever time. I'm Karen Davis, and along with Elena Feliz, we're representing the OD Collaborative or Organization Development Collaborative for a Flourishing World. This session is entitled Transforming Our Thinking and Co-Creating Sustainable Systems for Future Generations through Organization Development. We're going to be using OD rather than Organization Development, so be prepared for hearing that acronym a lot. Whether you've heard about OD or not, we'll be sharing the outcomes of 3 years of work with the OD gatherings. And we believe that this group has come up with a new definition of OD and a refinement of values and OD capabilities and visions for OD of the future. So between the two of us, we have over 80 years of OD experience and contribution. However, today is the first time that we have facilitated any online learning. So please bear with us. Okay, to continue, I'd like to invite you for a moment to become present together in silence, closing your eyes if you choose. Visualize yourself sitting in a circle with the others here from around the world. Take a few deep breaths. And allow yourself to be present here and now and together. Listen to your own quiet as well as the environment that surrounds you. So feeling the energy of this circle of people who are around our earth, take another deep breath and come back. Next, learning objectives. So we want to answer the question with regard to OD. What, so what, and now what? We're going to have a conversation around some newer ideas about OD and introduce an approach or a tool that's called open space technology. And we'll be referring to that as OS, another one to remember. Finally, we want to tie the 17 SDGs with action and to support you to identify what you will do in your own community or workplace. We have a lot to cover, and so let's move right along. Next, Jean.
Thank you, Karen. We're going to show a video. And before we get into this video, you may have seen it already. We want you to think about and choose an SDG goal around which you have an interest or passion. And we're clear that we love all 17 of the goals. We want you to write it down and put it in chat. We ask that you use the goal as a lens through which you experience this session and make an action commitment. And this is at the end. And so now I just would like to share the video. I will be saying some things about OD as we go through the video, but here it is. And hopefully you'll be able to hear the beautiful music that is part of this. So the beginning part is just some background. starting with one, be thinking about your passion for it. We believe, Karen and I believe, that OD is key to making these goals actionable, happen. And some of the, even if you don't know what OD is, you're familiar with some terms like team building, that's OD. Leadership development, coaching, that's OD. And we emphasize that OD is about process, so it's not just the task, it's how we do things. Very key. When we think of OD, we think of systems thinking. We think of developing strategy, like our SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We're clear about the interconnectedness of these goals, but there are certain goals that we may have interest in to make happen, and OD is part of that resource. Don't forget about dialogical themes. So there are just so many resources we have. Karen is going to talk about the tool Open Space, and just another resource for us to realize these SDG goals. So that is just a beautiful video, and I hope you were able to hear the music. So we're going to return to our slides, and we will go next to polling.
Well,
and
I could, no,
Karen?
the agenda. The agenda.
Okay, thank you.
And I certainly heard the music. I was moving to it. And in fact, it was stronger than your voice oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. Thanks, Elena. Now this is just a sequence of what we're going to be doing. We're going to speak to what was accomplished in the OD gathering. That'll be next. And most of our time is going to be spent exploring that report, and both in presentation now and in breakouts that'll be coming later. We place really high value on people conversing with each other and discovering their own brilliance and each other's brilliance. So it's really important that there's a lot of time to talk with each other. We're using an OD lens because that's how we see the SDGs can be accomplished. And there will be a verbal introduction to the open space tool that Elena mentioned, and rather than an actual experience. But we will be sharing some virtual opportunities that are coming up for that. And finally, Elena had asked you earlier to identify any SDG passion and use it as a lens today and for action later. So please use the chat throughout all of this. And we're not going to be able to respond to a lot of things, but we are committed to doing so through the emails that you send us, plus through the chat. Okay, on to the methodology for the OD gatherings and a little bit about them. Over a 3-year, next slide.
Okay.
Over a 3-year period beginning in 2017, a diverse group of OD practitioners and academics came together. There were at least 100 attendees each year, not always the same people. Elena and I were there for all 3 years. In the next And then later in 2018 and throughout last year, 4 different circles of work were immersed in either an OD definition, OD values, OD capabilities that are based on the essence of OD, and OD vision. All are being future oriented as we move into the future. The big question for the group who came up with this statement is what you see written there, but we're not going to be really addressing that, and we can't with this group. But however, this is the work that's going to be going on during this year throughout the world as we engage people in different venues, different conferences, OD organizations and groups. And on entity, you may have already read the statement. And if not, it will be put up on the chat, and you will have access to it, and it will be helpful to have that during the breakout groups. Next, Gina. Ooh, next, Elena. Woo.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I want to add, Karen, the interesting thing about this OD gathering was that the first session, Gen X and the millennials stood up and said, wait a minute, baby boomers, we're here. And for that reason, they took the leadership and we were all in agreement. So this is future oriented as well as the next generation. So the meat of this is the circles of work. And we begin with the definition of OD. And here we have, anyone who's familiar with OD knows so many definitions of OD. There's no consensus. So this is the OD gathering effort to come up with one definition of OD. And I'm going to read it out loud, emphasizing some key words. And it's organization development. OD is an interdisciplinary field. And that took a lot of work. We're a field of scholars and practitioners who work collaboratively with organizations and communities to develop their system-wide capacity for not just effectiveness, but vitality. And OD is grounded in the organization and systems, social sciences rather. OD is grounded in the organization and social sciences. So this is the definition of OD. And as Karen said, we're doing, traveling all over to get some feedback from others, in particular you at this point. Karen and I love this model. It captures the 9 core OD values from a future-oriented perspective. We're going to cover these 9 values after this model, but notice that the inner circle, awareness, self and system, integrity, continuous learning and innovation, courageous leadership. These are internal to OD practitioners. And then you look at the outside, more interacting with external folks, collaborative engagement, trust and respect, client growth and development, strategic practicality, diversity. I will mention that there was a result of a lot of research using the Delphi approach. There's a YouTube video as well as an article in JABS, the Journal of Applied Behavioral Science, that details anyone who's interested in the research that was done on this. So we look at the first 4 values, which was internal in the model. As an OD practitioner scholar, you should be awareness of self and system is familiar, integrity, continuous learning, and innovation. What is different is courageous leadership. To exemplify bold and effective conduct when necessary, it involves voicing truth directly to power and challenging the status quo. That is different from the past. because basically we're taught as OD practitioners and scholars to stay marginal, to stay detached from the system. And especially in today's world, how important is courageous leadership for OD, for the OD field? Next, these next three, again, should be familiar: diversity, collaborative engagement, trust and respect. Now, I have to bring up a bit of controversy with regards to delivering these values. Democracy and humanistic is, the language itself is not explicit. However, when you read under trust and respect, it involves exhibiting deep admiration for all humans and understanding their emotions and situations. When you think of empowerment, it's there. But I need to say again that these should be familiar to us. And finally, these are new: client growth and development. OD has always had an interest in transferring our skills and our knowledge to our client. That's always been like that. But this is explicit for client growth and development. And it talks about recognizing stages of development and fostering the ability of a human system to continually progress. And here's some finessing of saying strategic practicality. One of the reasons why this study is so important is because it's global. And again, when we go back to humanistic and democracy, how do you explain that to a client? And it's not just the corporate world, it's government, it's nonprofit. So those are the kind of things that were well thought up in regard to the research. There was an advisory committee. And what's great about this, when you look at the jobs article, there's knowledge indicators. So when you're doing training, new practitioners, you're really able to get into what's the behavior look like. And again, strategic practicality, it involves adapting to changing situations, identifying alternatives, and thinking strategically. So those are the 9 values. And Karen, I'll turn it over to you for the 6 OD capabilities.
Okay. In the literature over the years, there's been multiple and lengthy lists of OD competencies. And for example, there is a piece that you will get on the through chat on OD OD at a glance. And you'll see on there that there are 23 competencies listed. Well, this circle of work narrowed it down to 6. And all of these should be familiar, and you probably already had a chance to glance at them as I was talking. In terms of self-awareness, that also is explicitly one of the values. And within the field of OD, the phrase of self as instrument is really key. And there's a lot of focus on understanding who we are and what we are and how we as a person are an intervention and have an impact on the system. So we consider ourselves an instrument or tool would be another way of putting it. Inclusion and equity, systems thinking, skillful thinking, and skillful intervention. Skillful is a very significant word because we're talking really about the how of the intervention and the art of the intervention. And this is where OD becomes an art rather than a skill. So the emphasis on skillful, that's something that's newer. Theory-based, that was referenced in the definition, although I would also add that all of the sciences, all disciplines are really important for us to have some understanding of, whether we're talking about neuroscience or or we're talking about quantum sciences or conflict management or whatever. It's really needs to be a more transdisciplinary kind of base of theory. And then this is all future focused, of course, too. And here it's made explicit. An interesting thing with these, 6 capabilities, and then if we start comparing them with the values, there's a very strong interconnection. And I think you'll discover more about that and maybe talk about that within the breakout groups later. A fascinating aside, though, is that in a recent job, the work of jobs, there was that was done by the World Economic Forum. They identified 20 areas that I expect to be increasing in the next 5 years. And one of those was the OD specialist. And interestingly enough, on the other end, in terms of the future of jobs, human resource and training and development will be decreasing. That's the trend. So that's something fun to play with. Let's go back to Elena about the vision.
Thank you, Karen. You're going to be able to read this yourself. I'm going to read it out loud because there might be some people that don't have it in front of them. So this to me is so exciting. Again, many visions of OD, but here we go for the future. In an ever-changing, increasingly complex and diverse world, and that's where we're at now, friends, individuals, their communities, and organizations are thriving, adaptable, and resilient. People create and lead healthy, meaningful lives through effective, and here's our favorite word, sustainable human and organization systems. Effective leaders boldly and intentionally foster inclusive environments in which people connect with one another, see themselves and their organizations in new ways, and co-create their shared future. Let's just sit here and look at that. So we're going to shift. We're going to go into breakout groups. Karen and I thought about the breakout groups, and I think that in this conference that perhaps not too many have done this. We have 20 minutes. And what we would like you to do is, what are your reactions to the outcomes of the 4 circles? OD definition, OD values, OD capabilities, OD vision. Let's have a conversation. Share with each other, especially about the OD circle to which you are drawn. Write individual content highlight in chat. Doesn't have to be a group decision. Again, you have 20 minutes. I think randomly, you're going to be put into groups, and our tech advisors, are we ready to do that?
Yes, we are. Let me just set the time limit for 20 minutes and we'll be good to go.
All right, so be prepared to join. Well, actually, again, it's randomly. So it's going to be messy, folks, but let's just try this and spend some time.
Will you need to stop sharing your slide for us to do that, Elena?
And who's speaking?
Hi, Elena. It's Joel Harmon.
Oh, hi, Joel.
Hi.
I'm not sure. I think I heard that they're going to automatically put people in groups. Instruct me otherwise.
Hi, this is Deborah really quickly. It's going to be randomly selected. And so as soon as we open these rooms, the participants, Zoom will automatically throw you into one of the 4 breakout rooms. Okay?
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you.
And here we go. All right, everyone is now inside of a breakout room. Or they should be joining shortly. Please, if you received a message to join a breakout room, please join them.
So Karen, after they come back, we'll go to the plenary. And at that point, we'll have 15 minutes left for the entire presentation.
Okay, or for the rest of the time.
Yes.
Did you say that to join? I was in a group. Okay. No, that I was put in a group and I said later.
Yes, I did too.
Oh. Okay. It's done. I'm just scanning through chat now.
I think there's 10 folks that did not join the smaller groups.
Yes, I was about to say, there was only one person in the OD capabilities breakout room, and she was the only one in there. So I actually just moved her into OD vision. So there's about 7 people in each room. OD definition has 6 who joined. OD values has 7 who joined. I moved the one that was in OD capabilities, and then OD vision has 4 who joined.
Hi, I was in OD capabilities, but I didn't get a link to the new group.
Let me just assign you really quickly. Chelsea, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you were in OD capabilities. Let me try moving you into another room.
Okay, I got it. I got an invite. Thank you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's now 4 people who joined in the OD vision group. Still the full 7 in OD values, and then 6 in OD definition.
So they didn't get divided for 4 or 5 people, but that's fine.
And, yeah, due to the number of participants, I think it broke it up to about 7 or 9 in each group. The thing is, some people logged in to the session, but didn't accept the request to join a breakout room. So that's why the numbers are still, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you for facilitating that.
Of course, it's not a problem.
And Elena, we haven't shown the OD at a glance yet. Is that
No,
right? Did I miss it?
No, you didn't miss it. I certainly, you know.
Just checking.
Yeah.
And then I have a quick question. Did you still want to use the OD poll?
Well, Karen,
we
jumped.
I saw we jumped. I just didn't know if you wanted to come.
I didn't want to push on it.
Okay, not a problem. Give me just 1 second. Someone is asking for help, so I'm going to quickly jump into one of the breakout rooms.
Great.
My apologies on that one.
Yeah, I was surprised.
You were right. You were right when you put it up. You were right when you put it up. It was just that I wasn't looking carefully at my list.
Uh-huh. We'll get it. It's a small group, and so we'll get a sense of that, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think we already have since we know some of them.
So
I don't know if you looked at chat, and I was trying to figure out how to
no.
tell you, but your voice was not that clear. So there may be some of those things that want to reinforce.
Mm-hmm.
The music louder.
Okay.
So that's at the end, or some maybe as a part of the community thing. Something
Mm-hmm.
will come up, and there were a lot of good comments you had in there.
Yeah, we may be being recorded right now.
Yes, it is.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Careful.
It's okay. We're going, our IT people are going to take a look at this. So if anything, they might be able to just scrap this part of the recording or something like that, but it's absolutely fine.
Great.
Now, are the chats being recorded?
Yes, we will be saving a copy of the chat transcript as well. And we can make that available to you afterwards if you'd like.
Oh, my question is wrong. In the breakout rooms, is that recorded? I know they can chat.
That is a very good question. I'm actually not 100% sure. Let me jump into one of the other breakout rooms really quickly and I'll find out for you.
Karen, I have to say again, when the 20 minutes are up and we go into the community review, that's going to take some time. So I think the open space information will, time may be reduced.
I know. So can we put them on the, how long we're in community though, so that at least everything can be covered in some form?
Because we still need, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just checked the breakout rooms. It appears that most are not using the chat, but rather are verbally speaking to each other. And they are not being recorded.
Okay.
The recording doesn't extend to the breakout rooms.
Thank you.
Though there's specific breakout rooms, I imagine they're going to talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Oh, that's a part of it. Absolutely. That's why we don't need an other on the breakout on the.
Right. Welcome, Tony.
Hello, how are you?
Good. The question is, how are you?
I'm good. I wasn't sure. So I've used Zoom a bunch of times. I just wasn't certain exactly how this was going to work. I understand that I guess there's different rooms and I guess there's a presentation before and after the one that I'll be in. So
Back, everybody. So how was that experience? Anyone?
Well, this is Bill Russell, and we certainly had a wonderful breakout session. So we can share more later, but just wanted you to know that I thought it was a success.
Ha.
And it wasn't 20 minutes, Elena, that was too quick.
Well, we said it would be messy, you know, so better to see each other and interact. How about anyone else? Any thoughts? Thank you, Bill.
Hi, my name is Oyen, and I agree with what Russell mentioned. It was really nice to hear people speak, and I'm actually a student, not a faculty member, so it was nice to listen to the adults speak.
So thank you. And put in chat any feedback, or you can share now, any feedback that you have with regards to the circles. I imagine that, you know, even though it was labeled vision, that you probably had a chance to talk about other parts of the circles. Anyone else who would like to share?
Elena, this is Terry.
Yes, Terry.
Last night there was a panel of students that shared the last session that was absolutely inspiring. And so fortunately with our group, we did include a student, had a student, Adita, and the feedback was just so rich because of his experience being out in corporations this past summer, you know, perhaps an internship. So the inclusion of young voices, I just think speaks to OD. That's always been my impression about OD. It's just so open. It just pulls everyone into its circle, you know, rather than exclude. So our group was a demonstration of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay. Again, put your feedback in chat. We're very interested in this. We know it's too early for you to say, oh, I commit completely to all 4 circles, but you have our email addresses to give us more feedback. And it takes a while to be exposed to something and then say, oh, it's perfect. That's not the case. Okay. Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
You got $416.77 in your paycheck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's you, and we have 10 minutes left.
Okay, open space technology, or OS as we're going to refer to it, is a way of self-organizing around topics or issues of importance to attending, with opportunities for dialogue individually and collectively. But the word self-organizing is what's really key. Open space is nothing new. It goes back to the beginning of the universe and the way in which it came into being. It's related to the indigenous people and when humans first came and how they sit in a circle around a fire and talk to each other, and all voices are heard and decisions are made. So those are some of the basic kinds of things that when in the 80s, it was rediscovered, self-organizing was rediscovered and put into the language of open space. So that's just a very simple and quick way of talking about it. Within open space, there's always a theme beforehand that's a part of an invitation. And when people come together, there is no agenda, but they create their own from their passions and their responsibility and what they're willing to take responsibility for. Notes are taken. There's a lot of dialogue moving around from one group to another. And then there is what we call proceedings, which oftentimes is sort of a white paper or a way of how we would move forward action-wise. So, and it's been used in over 140 countries for all kinds of things, from conflict resolution, communication, developing products in an organization or in a company, to nation building. So anyway, there are many ways in which it has been used. So there are some guiding principles that are used, and basically whoever comes are the right people, and if you're the only one who comes, you're the right person. Whatever happens is the only thing that can happen, and wherever it happens is the right place, and that's a newer principle. It wasn't a part of the original ones. And everything, or whenever it starts, is the right time, and when it's over, it's over. And these principles can be used not only individually in the way in which we function as humans and as people and the way we relate to each other, but there are also principles that can work with bringing even 44,000 people together for an open space gathering. There's a law of 2 feet. So there, besides the principles, there is the law, and that's also called the law of mobility or of movement. And what that basically means, if you're in a situation where you're neither learning nor contributing, you use those 2 feet and you go someplace else. And there's several ways of using your feet. One is as a bumblebee or a bee, and who does cross-pollinates in flowers in terms of nature. And so you can go from group to group, or the butterfly, which expresses a lot of and shows a lot of beauty, and also movement as it sort of lightly travels around. And so those are 2 of the nature symbols for the possibilities. There will be 2 opportunities posted where you can actually experience virtually in open space. And that's so, and since this session is almost over, and each of you will become a bumblebee or a butterfly or whatever else, if you haven't already, we'll now move on. Next.
Thank you. So you've seen
Next
this.
slide.
Yes. Yes, you see it? One more time. You've seen this model of all 17 of the goals. We put it up here because we want to commit to one that you might have passion. And this is just a reminder, we may not have memorized, except Bill Russell probably has memorized all of these goals. So what we're going to ask you to do in the remaining minutes we have, how will your behavior, action tomorrow be different in living and realizing the UN sustainable goal of, and what's your pleasure here? Again, we're probably, they're all interconnected. We're going to be doing multiple, but one in particular that you could take action. And if you would, post in chat, or if a few of you want to share. And again, we're emphasizing, we believe OD is a resource. We can help. And if you didn't know anything about OD, I hope you know more now, and especially future OD and the generations that are coming.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Hello, Ms. Elena. I'm Ifan Andy Lee from Rutgers Business School. International sophomore majoring in finance and accounting. So I think one of the goals that I would focus on is, just to foster this like diversity and inclusion, like both within, the country and also like between countries. Cause I'm an international student from China and, like here I've been like, tutoring other international students and also like, helping the locals to better understand them as well. And, just right now in COVID-19, there's like, even in 2020, like, there's so much misunderstandings and things going on around. So I'm thinking that, if I could, just bring this, this bicultural understanding, also, just this passion to like really help people better understand each other and solve problems together. I mean, that would definitely be something that I would be willing and, that I would aspire to contribute. And
wonderful.
Thanks for helping me in that.
Ah, wonderful, Yafan. You are our future, so just very inspired by what you just said.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so again, be sure and put it in chat. Karen?
Yeah, just very, very quickly, there is this list of resources, and there will be some others that we'll be posting in chat, or possibly they'll end up on Entity also. So this list will be available to you. And just as a final sort of thing, let's just take a second together in silence and sort of experience ourselves again in that circle of with each other all over the world. And my final words are, we are the ones the world has been waiting for.
And in gratitude for co-creating with us, thank you so much for attending this session. And you have our email addresses. We are open and ready to receive any other comments, questions. We're here for you.